Why would you trust an AI video more than your own physician? Why is raw milk supposed to be better for me when it of course has all the bacteria that throughout history has killed millions of people? And then why does all of a sudden peanut butter contain an extreme amount of bacteria? And then my AirPods are gonna just fry my brain each and every time I just put them? Also, I was forgetting about it. How could I forget about the 11 million different supplements that I need in order to stay alive? So in today's video, we're gonna dive into how pseudoscience is becoming the king of solving problems. I don't know why, but most things that happen to America like dwindle down and get to Europe and the rest of the world, which, you know, it used to be the other way around. But hey, of course, let's adopt raw milk and pseudoscience. Yes, I really want to spend like 150 euros on a supplement. Of course, that will last me like 2 weeks and that will, you know, not do anything for me. But anyway, let's just dive why this is a thing. This is a thing because it triggers something psychological in the people, because if it was only physiological, science is the one that gives better results, then why are people relying on pseudoscience? You know, why do people think that, turmeric is gonna save them from the flu? Even if here in Europe prices of medicine are regulated, we still don't fully trust, and we still think that medicine is kind of like a wrong thing that is gonna harm us more than help us, which kind of makes little to no sense. But it's still like the idea is still there, and I know it's really irrational, but what we do is kind of we rationalize it. People rationalize why they wouldn't want to take a paracetamol, and they would rather just suffer, really, because a tea is not going to do much. Maybe it's going to ease a bit the pain you're having, for instance, if you have a stomach ache, but if it's severe, it is of course not going to help as much. Maybe in the long term, if you take a tea on a daily basis, it is going to help you because, you know, you have a recurrent amount of X in your body that in the long term could actually be beneficial. But in the short term, no, it is of course not going to help you. Those natural properties are really good for preventing, but they are not as good for curing severe diseases. And also, those natural properties are not always good. For instance, the raw milk pandemic we're having, especially not even in the US, also here, like my mom, I remember she bought a cheese, and the Parmesan cheese comes from raw milk. My mom was like, you see, it's raw milk. It's because it's better than normal one. Like pasteurized milk cheese. And I was like, why? Do you know that by the process of how the cheese is made, the bacteria is gone? That's why it's raw. Because otherwise it wouldn't be sold in the supermarkets, because people would die or at least get ill. And that's what's going on in the US, which is, well, I mean, I think it's concerning because we have even people who are highly influential political voices like RFK Jr., who are claiming that this is a great thing, who are drinking shots of raw milk in, I don't know which place. I don't think it was the Parliament or the White House or anything. I don't know. But into like an official thing, he went and took a raw milk shot. The thing is, they found out that raw milk contained bird flu. There were some of the bottles that contained bird flu. Literal flu that it is so easy to transmit through the milk. And if you don't pasteurize it, people who drink it indeed are gonna get it. So that's not curing people. It's not worth it having a little amount of benefits of the bacteria that could be good for the huge amount of bacteria that could be harmful for you. It's just not worth it. It's not balanced. If it were balanced, okay, we would eat raw milk, but we don't, because it's not worth it. And again, social media does a great job of marketing raw milk and anti-establishment rhetoric to be good for the people. It's just like, oh, government bad because they and big pharma and big corporations are bad because they are trying to sell you something to make you worse so that they can profit off more about it. First of all, I'm not saying that I agree with not having price regulations on medicine, because that would be playing with people's health, and I don't believe that to be a good value to uphold. Then you have 1,000 million different influencers who, for some strange reason, maybe just rage bait or kind of like clickability, because if you see something so outrageous, you're more likely gonna just click and see it, are claiming that eating raw everything is better for you. Because our ancestors used to eat raw everything. You know how long that was? And do you know the life expectancy back then? Do you know how many people used to die of not only diseases caused by bacteria, but also just like falling? And people would, I don't know, have a small bruise and they would die because of an infection, or they would die because a lion would come and eat them. That's outrageous to say that. Like, the argument of people used to do such thing is really big, and it's really just, it's stupid, because it's stating that something that used to happen is how it should be right now. And it's like, why? We've literally evolved to people living healthier, in better conditions, and right now populations are much healthier and live far longer and with a higher quality because of these scientific advancements, because of these evolutionary adaptations to lifestyle. What are you saying about the best diet in the world being bacteria over bacteria over bacteria over bacteria? It's like, there's a reason why we don't eat raw eggs, there's a reason why we don't eat raw flour. And the people who say flour is bad and bad, I'm not a nutritionist. I have nothing to do with like food or dietary stuff. I'm just a psychologist. But I know how to analyze data, and I hope that by the end of this video you realize how important statistics and analyzing data is to understand how everyone's trying to lie to you. And if you look at the details, you realize that reality is actually not how they claim it to be. And again, with 1,000 million different influencers claiming that we need 100 different supplements every day because for some strange reason we lack 1,000 million different vitamins, and the only way we could get them is by having a mysterious, because we don't know the amount of fillers, the amount of no, you don't know, because it's not regulated like medicine. Therefore, you can just, like, if you sell something as a supplement, you don't have to it doesn't have the amount of regulation a pharmaceutical product has. So you only need to just put things inside of that and hope that it gets what it claims. Well, the user gets what the product claims to do for you. And most of those claims could work with a placebo. Melatonin, for instance, yes, it could help. Don't do it. It's the only population I would advise to have, to supplement with melatonin would be the elderly, whose capacity of producing melatonin is less than younger populations. But anyway, that's besides the point. It's a bit like playing the devil's advocate, and I'm not gonna lie, if you have this bit of intellect, you're gonna like playing the devil's advocate, just because people are stubborn, and if we like something and we are intelligent enough to develop an argument for it, we're gonna just exploit it and just squeeze all the juice we can. That is interesting. That is good. That is what makes life worth living. But sometimes it's just so disastrous because people get caught up into their own thinking and argumentation, and we have people like my mom giving stupid shit to her son and questioning why he doesn't get better. It's like, because you're giving him a pill that makes absolutely nothing. And thank God it does absolutely nothing, because the best it could do would be nothing, and the worst would be him having a terrible reaction to it. You don't know what's in there, and you don't know if he really needs that or not. And before you say, yes, there are studies on how different supplements benefit people's lives, just take, for instance, creatine. Yes, but every single study out there is in between brackets, because to generalize a study into the whole population, to infer that, it's almost impossible. A study works under certain circumstances. Of course, those circumstances are, we want them to be as similar to real life as possible, but, chances are things are not going to work exactly as real life works. Also, if I take, for instance, again, my mom, she also hasn't had a great relationship with physicians and people in the medical system. So if you haven't had a great experience with them, you're more likely going to trust in other stuff. And so you're going to be driven by fear and hope and wanting to just find a better alternative or less harmful alternative to how the medical system's working. And that's literally how homeopathy was born. And we know now that homeopathy has like 0 sense. And in addition, those pseudoscientific theories come along with people who actually have credentials. Most of the videos my mom's sending me about how the AirPods are gonna fry my brain. There's a great video about a doctor that I'm gonna link down in the description if you want to see it, about her debunking all those myths. Those are like the videos she sends me are doctors. Now my favorite argument when she's sending me those videos, I'm like, yes, and there are doctors prescribing people to take homeopathy. Homeopathy and I are besties. That is a fucking cult. And how do these doctors or experts, coaches, I love those terms, they're hilarious. Like, whenever you see something expert, something coach, they're just BS. Or at least chances are they are gonna be BS. Or chances are they are not the most informed people out there. I just hope they have good intentions. That's it. They cherry pick data. Like, if you go into like PubMed or Google Scholar and you write down raw milk benefits or raw milk good for your health, you will get studies that prove your point. But you need to look at those studies, look at the circumstances under to which those hypotheses are correct, and we need to understand that those circumstances are not gonna be real life. They are not transferable to the general population. Why is that? Oh, maybe because raw milk has bacteria, and bacteria kills people. Penicillin is one of the greatest discoveries and inventions, like antibiotics, of humanity. Our quality of life and life expectancy is as high as it is because of that. I mean, not only, but most of it is because of antibiotics. And thankfully enough, we've eradicated those diseases, and now we don't even need to take antibiotics when we get an infection, because most infections are so weak that we don't die out of them. It's fucking amazing. And also, we don't even get them because there's a bunch of hygiene out there that's protecting us. And I know that anecdotes carry a bunch of weight, at least emotionally. And so our brain thinks it's a great argument because someone drank raw milk and now they are better. Just because one person beat the odds doesn't mean that it's applicable to the general population. And that's when statistics come in. I always thought that statistics were the dumbest, and well, not dumb, but like a computer can do that, okay? And it's just boring. It's just like putting data into a chart. Wrong. It's a literal method to clearly see patterns, nuances, and the distribution of things. It's not the same that a person is breathing better because they are taking ginger shots than a randomized control trial throughout, I don't know, years and years on 1,000 people. It's not the same. But because the one single person that actually benefited from is talking to you and you feel like you know them, the argument carries much more weight because it carries much more emotional weight. Think rationally, please. Think rationally. One of the most interesting things about statistics is probability. Probability are the chances an event is going to happen, okay? And things, more often than not, are not black or white. If I drink raw milk, will I get bacteria in my body? Will I get the bird flu? Well, that's where chance comes in. And because there are several factors that affect on the outcome, you're gonna calculate all of that. Well, nowadays a computer will calculate all of that, and then you'll get a number that goes from 0 to 1. Those are the chances you have to have something or not. And there's a really interesting concept my professor told me. And he gave us the example of, let's just say that there's a population where the average of chickens per day people eat are 1. And you take 3 different people as samples. And then you say one person eats 0, one person eats 0, and the other one eats 3. Oh, you have an average of 1 per person. But does this showcase reality? Oh no, it doesn't, because you have 2 people starving themselves and another who's fat. And that made me think, like, oh yeah, an average doesn't mean that the distribution is equal. That means that there's a bunch of difference in between that. And statistics, play with those numbers and show us the difference, the variation in between, which, if once you understand it and you see a table and you realize it, and not even in table, you go through life with a different vision. Like now, for instance, whenever I see a study or like a study show that people benefit from eating raw milk. Again, I know I'm using raw milk example again and again, but I think it's just hilarious. Studies show people benefit from eating raw milk. It's like, wait a damn minute. How many people benefited from it? Because if one person benefited from it, we could say, like, technically, you can benefit from it. But if you've got 99 people, the rest, who remained the same or whose health got worse, that's not good for you, because outliers are everywhere. And we really need to take that into account. So the next time someone says a claim to you, just be skeptical about it and be like, let's use my analytical skills to dissect that shit. We have bigger problems and we need to do better things with our lives than to bring back consumption and make half of the population die from it. Please, let's just stop it. So if you like this video, like, subscribe, comment if you have anything to say about it, because I love it when you do. In the last video, you commented a lot. I like that a lot because I love just thinking and questioning what I say in those videos, because more often than not, I go back into my life and I don't remember anything. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos about me being paranoid, you have here a list of me being paranoid on the internet. And yeah, without further ado, have a really nice week. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah.